Welcome to What's Up Casseberry, a show about our community by our community. My name is Andy. I'm here with producer Robin. My co-host Drew isn't with us today because he's at the hospital for the very best reasons. His wife Becky gave birth just yesterday to their two twins. Congratulations, Drew and Becky, and welcome to the world, little guys.
Congratulations, but it's just very poor planning for this podcast, guys. Come on.
I know. So next time you have twins, please consult our schedules first.
Come on.
Yeah. But Robin, we're on location today.
We are live on location.
Live on location. And if you hear some music in the background, it is not Robin singing. It is the music coming from Casseberry's Patio Grill and Bar, where we, in a moment, will sit down with owner Pat Lembo and talk about his story and what happens through this bar and the family that he's created here as well. Pretty cool being on location, Robin.
Yes, I love it. We need to find more locations to be at.
Yes. So if you would like to be a guest and you own somewhere pretty
I'm
cool.
thinking an expensive 5-star restaurant.
Beach home.
Beach home.
Private airplane.
A yacht is fine. We're not picky.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very, we could do the What's Up Casseberry podcast from the middle of the Atlantic Ocean or something. I like it. So if that's you, then you give us a call and we'll be right there. So we are going to have a very different show today. We're going to have a couple of our similar sections. No news to report this week.
Becky and Drew's twins.
Oh,
like the highlight of Casseberry. Come on.
That is. I saw that on the billboard and on Fox 35 today.
We weren't the first to know.
Welcome to the Taylor twins. But Robin, it wouldn't be a podcast without Drew's favorite section. And because we're missing Drew, I think it's important that we honor him today. So you know what that section is?
The Doug jokes of the week.
Should we call it the Drew jokes of the week?
The Drew jokes.
No, I like that. Yeah, it's hard to say. We'll call it the dad jokes. And every time I say that, you say the dad jokes, which kind of the Doug jokes, which takes away some of my steam. Okay, here's the Doug jokes for this week. You ready?
I'm just trying to give credit where credit's due. Yes,
and I'm trying to steal the jokes and the credit if it's good, and I'm also looking for someone to dump them onto.
How can we check your sermons? I'm sorry.
Well, you can. Feel free.
Give it to me.
Okay, you ready? These aren't rehearsed, so your laughter will be genuine.
Yes.
Doctor, we're just waiting on your X-ray. Blonde. I've never dated a Ray. Doc, I think we probably need to order a brain scan as well. That was a sympathy laugh.
No, it was fun. It just took me a second, okay?
Okay. Let's see what else we've got. All right, Robin, here's a second dad joke. I took my car to the mechanic because it was making a terrible noise.
Oh, yeah?
Do you know what the mechanic said?
What?
Nothing. He just took the Nickelback CD out of the car and said, no, it's fine now. You know, that's strange, isn't it? The dad joke section is really struggling with that, Drew.
It is. See, I told you he was the glue here this whole time.
I have fought that for so long, but maybe I have to concede.
Let's just have a new section in honor of Drew. Just like why Drew is great. Drew is just great. He's a good guy.
No.
He's a good dad.
He is, those
He's a good friend, I'm sure. Well, yeah, he's a good friend.
Yeah, I don't think our listeners want to hear that. All right, so we have welcomed you. We have told you some jokes. We have congratulated Drew and Becky. And now it's time for our business moment of the month.
The episode?
The episode. That was the word I was looking for. This on-location stuff really messes with my flow. From our very own Ed Pisani Jr.
And then following that, we'll hear from our podcast partner.
Good afternoon. This is Ed Pisani with I4 Web Services. I'm the owner of that company, and I'm also a board member of the Casseberry Chamber of Commerce. Today, I'm going to be giving you another This Is Your Business tip in a minute. And today I'm going to be talking about getting your clients or customers lined up. It's so important as a new entrepreneur, even as an established entrepreneur, to get a pipeline of clients or customers lined up for your business so it can be successful. The more people you have lined up to take advantage of your product or service, the more income you're going to receive and you don't have to worry about having a negative cash flow period where you don't have any clients coming in that need or want your product or service. So getting those lined up, working the pipeline out is so crucial to have a successful business. So I always recommend think ahead, try to get 5, 10, 100, however many you need to be successful in your business lined up now. All right, well, this has been great. Until next time, take care.
We are proud to be sponsored by Edward Jones Financial. In times of financial uncertainty, how can you stay on track? Call on someone who's invested in your success. Alia Fareed, your Casseberry Edward Jones financial advisor, is here to help you. She will work to build a complete picture of your financial life, including your unique goals and passions, so she can help you achieve what's most important. Call Alia Fareed at 407-678-0658 to schedule an appointment today. Edward Jones Financial, member SIPC.
All right, welcome back, listeners. We are on location today in Casseberry's Patio Bar, and I am honored to have a conversation with a good friend of mine, Mr. Pat Lembo. Pat and I have known each other for about 3 years, and he's owned the bar for 4 years, even though the bar has been here since 1967, we think. I'm sure there's 1,000 jokes to be made about a pastor coming to a bar, but Pat, I feel so comfortable here because I feel so comfortable with you, and we share a similar heart to serve the community and help people, and you do that so well. So Pat, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on the podcast, Andy.
All right, well, we got some questions, but this is going to be more like a conversation than a 60-minute segment.
Okay.
All right, so first question, so that our listeners can get to know you, Pat. If Steven Spielberg were to make a movie about your life, what would the title of that movie be?
I think the title would be I've Been Blessed.
Okay,
and I say that because I've had a career I was an accountant by training. I then went to work for a client. That was in textiles. I got to travel the world. I saw a lot of places in the Far East and in Europe. Then after that, we sold the textile firm back to a very famous company from the UK, Cowton and Tout.
I like those British people.
Yes,
Pat.
they make all those little chintzes that people adore. And then after that, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and I've always had some kind of retail bend or inkling, and I got into the laundromat business in New Jersey.
Okay. And you wanted a clean start?
Yes, I wanted a clean start. And as you can well imagine, there's as many jokes about that there are about a pastor being in a bar, Andy.
Probably.
But in fact, my funniest story, when I opened my first store in 1981, it was Maytag equipped, and the fellow that was a salesperson told me what signs to put up, and I had this sign, and one sign was no dyeing, D-Y-E-I-N-G, because back then people used to dye clothes, now nobody.
Do you have a sign that says no dyeing in the bar, Pat? That would be...
So the sign was up, Andy, about a year, and this guy, older gentleman, walks in. He said, "Excuse me, who died?" I said, "Excuse me." He said, "You got a sign up there, no dyeing," and he was serious. I said, "No, it doesn't mean somebody can't physically die in here, you just can't die."
Yeah, that's right.
The next day I took the sign down. So that was a little bit of my background, and I had a model. I thought that some of the inner city neighborhoods were underserved, or people didn't have decent places to go to in terms of being clean, attended, and found out that 99% of people, even in the worst neighborhoods, are decent people.
Yeah.
It's only the 1% that usually cause all the problems. And we came up with a model, and I was very successul with it, and we developed it into a chain of 12 stores. It's still going up there. And then I decided that I had enough with it, and You've met my wife.
Yeah.
I had to compromise.
Let me just call her your better half.
My better half for sure. So Puerto Rico, where she was born, is her first choice. So we kind of settled it.
Okay.
On
There's not too much difference between Casseberry and Puerto Rico.
No, there's not. You could say it probably has some better beaches.
Yeah, yeah. We got some nice lakes, but it's not quite the same, is
Right.
it?
So we decided, and her father moved down here in the early 2000s. He's in St. Cloud. So we said, well, we want to be close, but not too close. So St. Cloud is, between an hour and a half and a 2-hour drive. So we came down here in August of 18.
Okay.
And I immediately got bored, Andy. I was working since I was 10 years old. And I had grown up in a family bar.
Yeah.
My dad and his brother had a bar that was, from the early 30s, and
Wow.
they sold it in the early 70s.
Yeah.
So it was a long run, and I guess it was like coming full circle.
Yeah.
So I hooked up with a local business broker and saw what he had for sale, and one was a tent rental, and nothing really, excited me, and or said that's something I'd really like to do. And he said, well, I'm just going to throw this out there. He said, there's a bar for sale in Casseberry's, and that's a local family kind of bar, and it's for sale. And he arranged a meeting with the owner, Sandy Strange, who, as I said, owned it for the 25 years, and we hit things off. And that was December, and we said, she and I hit it off, and kind of got the brokers out the way, and we
Right.
were able to conclude a deal or to buy the bar.
I love it.
And less than a month later, and I, as part of my due diligence, would come in, and I wouldn't tell them that the bar was, I was thinking of borrowing the
Right.
bar, or else they're going to
Right.
act differently.
Right, you were like an undercover boss before
Right.
you were the boss.
Exactly, and what I loved about it, I came to the front bar, I came to the tiki bar several times, and I noticed something. Nobody were looking at their phones.
Huh.
Okay, which is kind of a rare event. I mean,
sure.
you go in a restaurant and see a mom and dad with 2 kids and on their phone, and nobody's talking. So I liked it. I liked the clientele. It reminded me of my dad's bar. We had a restaurant, pizza parlor, and we catered. We did weddings and things of that nature, and had a house band, and it kind of was the same feel. And I worked there literally from I was 10 years old through college.
I love that, Pat. That's a great story. I love how life is coming full circle. I love how you came undercover and checked this place out. Was there anything else that kind of attracted you to the community, to the bar?
Well, I had, seen a couple other, I got around to what other family, they described as family bar, and they really weren't
Right.
family. I mean, we've had any retail establishment today, you'll get a couple bad apples,
Sure.
but far and wide that we're giving people, and the previous owner had already done some charity event, good works.
I don't know if I ever met her, but I certainly, as you mentioned her name,
She was a big supporter, Andy, of the Casseberry Food Bank in the school.
Yeah,
And
that's
she
right.
she started that, and I guess at some point there was no longer a room available, but somebody else carried it on. And as you said, you met my better half, and she prayed on it, and she got a positive answer. With the understanding that we do some good work. And not even a month after I bought the bar, there was this big bike run planned. And that gentleman this morning mentioned the work involved. And I had no idea, because these bike runs go to several bars, and they ended here. And there was a young girl who was about, I guess at the time she was 6 or 7. And she had this rare bone disorder where her bones weren't growing properly, and needed a whole host of operations. So we had the bike run here. We literally raised 13 some $1,000 that day.
Yeah.
And the whole place was in tears at the end of the day. I just felt that it was a good place for people. The other thing is the bar is open 365 days a year.
Yeah.
And I kind of questioned that. I said, hey, that includes Thanksgiving and Christmas and Easter and New Year's Day I kind of got. But I said the other days. And then she said, well, there's a lot of people that don't have families. And, they always have this potluck on Thanksgiving. We cook a turkey. The other people bring food. And amazingly, Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Day are very good days for us. And just for people to have a place to go.
Yeah, so. I love that. I grew up in England, Pat, as you know, and there's a pub on every corner.
Oh, yeah.
And pubs had the same purpose, right? You didn't go there for any other reason, really, than just to see your family and to catch up. And it became like the theme song to Cheers, right? Everyone wants to go where someone knows their name. And for a lot of people, this is here, and this is great. I love the story of how your wife said, yeah, I'll give you permission to buy it, but you got to give back to the community. And that project with that young girl that you mentioned where you raised all that money, didn't some of the ladies who work behind your bar walk up and down the state as a sponsored walk or something?
Heather, who you met, and Kelsey walked the Florida Trail.
Yeah.
And they raised money for the Autism Alliance, and people pledged, that's right, I forgot about that, Andy, pledged X amount per mile that they walked.
Yeah.
And I believe that raised about $5,000 or $6,000. I think in the 4 years, and including the bike run, we've probably raised or donated in the neighborhood of $40,000 plus.
That's really amazing, and I love that heart for the community. And Pat, that's how you and I met, with Shop with a Cop stuff around Christmas, the Kids and Cops Fishing Derby, and now we serve on the Police Foundation board together. And I just love your focus on the community. A couple of things just to pick up on. You said you've been to some places and people encourage you kind of maybe not go, but really there's only 1% of the people that are bad apples and 99% are good. What has working in the bar taught you about the best and the worst of people?
Well, the best of people is easy. I mean, we, besides our fundraisers for, Christian health, which is very important to us, we have a box for the food bank, and we've been donating it to Longwood Grammar School, which is right off 1792. And last week they called. This inflation crisis is really hitting even working families hard. Yeah. And they asked if we had any food to bring up because they were literally out of food. Yeah. And we had, I brought up 4 decent-sized boxes, but when I met with Vicky the other day, Martin, she was telling me that many of the people that are coming now are what you would call middle-class people with a number of kids that just can't afford to feed them. One of the ladies that is an admin person at the school, when I brought the food up there yesterday, I made a comment to her. I said, it's really, it's really sad that a lot of kids have to, and their families have to depend upon the school or even the meals that the school provides to them. And she says, look, I've got a good job with the food, with the school here, but my husband has 4 kids from his previous marriage, and we have 4 kids. Wow. And I said, and I'm thinking to myself, 8 kids to feed today, I can't imagine. So the need there is, need is serious, and it's there. Christian Help gave away 1 million pounds of food last year, and I can't say enough about what they do. And people are very giving here. When we have fundraising events, they'll give of their time. They'll donate. I mean, either silent auction,
Yeah.
50-50 raffles, things of that nature. That's the best in people. There are some people, I think, that as a result of the pandemic, Andy, people are not as nice as they used to be.
Seems that way sometimes. We seem so divided, and we seem to kind of amp up our anger pretty quickly now.
Yeah, and I had a rule in here before, and it's strictly enforced now. No talking about politics.
Oh, well, there goes my next question.
Religion. Those are off, all off. The other thing that we raised quite a bit of money for last year was Orlando Youth Alliance. That supports gay and transgender kids, and we're proud of the sign we have out. Don't enter if you're a racist, a homophobe, and or just a nasty person. And our biggest problem, if you talk about problems, and there's not a lot, some people come in here that have been drinking elsewhere, and we've got a strict policy. We'll refuse them, and it's often hard to get them to leave. The other problem I have with the state of Florida allows the sale of all these little liquor bottles that we used to call airplane bottles.
Right.
I can't get my head around that some people want to bring their own liquor to a bar.
Today, really.
when we have live music that costs a lot of money. But that's kind of the worst of it.
Yeah.
And the other thing I liked about the bar, a number of the bars I went into when I was canvassing the bars in the neighborhood, and this even happens to me. I'm a member of the Casseberry Vet Club.
Okay,
and they're a true vet club. In fact, if we ever needed their hall for anything, Andy, they would be glad to do it. But I get what I call, and they know I'm a member, but you get what I call the hairy eyeball stare.
Okay.
like what are you doing here? So that's kind of the flip side of if it's a Cheers kind of place.
Yeah.
Who are you?
I see. Right.
What you doing here?
Right. So it's family to me, and I need to check you out before you join my family.
Yeah.
I get it. And I think that exists in a lot of organizations. But I've certainly found your family here, if I can call them that, just very welcoming and very, very kind. And again, through the benevolent stuff you've done, they've obviously been very generous as well. You mentioned some of the events you have, some of the bands you had. I was here, I think it was probably a year ago around now.
September 6th of last year, when the great Carl Palmer was here.
Oh, was it in September? Okay.
Yeah. No, excuse me, Andy. It was this month. The 6th.
That's what I thought.
Was 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
And I mean, honestly, I tell people about that. And I knew who Carl Palmer was, and his roots, and one of the best top 10 drummers alive in the world today. And I tell people that I came to see Carl Palmer here, and they're like, the Carl Palmer at Casseberry's? How did that happen?
Well, I still have people ask me. Even somebody asked me a couple months ago, "Was that really Carl Palmer?" And I said, "Yes, it was really Carl Palmer." And they said the same thing, asked the same question, Andy. And I had a friend of mine that does some band booking here, and I guess he got a phone call, and that Carl Palmer was on tour, and mostly it was big venues, and that he was traveling south, north, and he was going to be in Jacksonville, I guess, the day or 2 days later. And he had an open date, and could he perform here? I said, well, I'd love to have the Carl Palmer here, but what's it going to cost me?
Yeah.
So he gave us somewhat of a discount, and it was a flat fee, and I didn't have to give him a percentage of the gross. I actually didn't make any money on it. In fact, I wished that I got a piece of the merchandise sales.
Because
he did very well on that night. But I thought it was something to do for the people that support live music here all the time.
Well, I love it. I think it may not have kind of run a profit for the bar, but I think it puts you on several maps, which was really cool. I know you have lots of events throughout the year, throughout the months. What are some of the events you're excited about this year that people can maybe come and participate in and with?
We have the live bands Friday and Saturday night, all local from Central Florida. In fact, we had Hayfire here, which is a country band, last Saturday night. That's been voted the best cover band in Central Florida 7 years running.
Wow.
And they'll be here 4 times this year. And we're trying to keep live music going, and one of the reasons why I moved the live music, and you may have recalled, had been in this room. Post-COVID, people in that age group, and I'm not trying to stereotype people, but in that 40 to 60 or 70 age group weren't coming out the way they were.
Now, Robin knows nothing about that, but you and I understand.
Know, right, well, especially me. But we moved the live music out to the patio, and it's worked out very well. I had a couple naysayers, but now there was 1 or 2 bands that decided to cancel, but I'm happy to say that they both came back. And then we brought in pool leagues in the middle bar here, because this was literally being used 2 nights a week from 9 to 2. And it was sitting vacant the rest of the time. So now we have pool leagues 3 nights a week in here, and it's been growing. These are diamond tables that Vegas switched to. The difference with these is the pocket is 1 inch narrower. So if you play on a Brunswick or a Valley, which are the 2 big tables, and you go to Vegas and play on this table, trust me, you're not going to play as well. So.
Well, here's my deal. I need the pockets to be about 3 inches on either side bigger for me to do well. Well, Pat, you're not just a benevolent bar owner. You're a brilliant businessman as well, seeking to maximize everything before you, and I love that.
Well,
I love that.
And, again, we're going to do a Christian help fundraiser in the fall. My father's bar, it was a close-knit Italian neighborhood. And my father was Italian, my mother was Dutch. And she was in the Dutch Reformed Church. And they had something called the Holland Burial Fund. And every member of the church put in a couple dollars a month. So if someone that was a member of the parish died, they would pay for the funeral. And my father, if there was a fundraiser, if there was a need in the neighborhood, somebody died or somebody got sick, they were pretty quick to do fundraisers. My father would donate the food. We would get a band to donate to play, and I guess that's what's missing a lot today, more and more. And I think that and I went to a Catholic grammar school, and I hate to think what it was back then. It was probably $2 or $3 a month, but all the parents, you had to volunteer for something, and my father volunteered for years for bingo night. That's how Catholic churches raised most of their funds. So it was kind of just instilled that you don't give a second thought to helping people, or especially people in need. And I guess from the standpoint is those of us that are lucky to be healthy and successful owe it to people through usually no reason of their own aren't.
Those of us who are blessed, as you said, to have, I think have a responsibility to help those who haven't, often through no fault of their own. Pat, it has been wonderful talking to you and hearing some of the stories, and I hope our listeners are appreciating what happens here as well, the sense of family, the give back, the care that you provide. How can people find out more about the bar? Are you on social media, website, that kind of stuff?
Yes, we are. We've got a website, casseberrybar.com, that in fact Ed maintains the site.
And Ed is a gentleman that serves with you and I in the Police Department Foundation Board.
Correct. And he was nice enough to do the foundation's website. We have a Facebook page. In fact, Ed set up a second Facebook page that is a Casseberry for the city, which a lot of, it's not just for the bar. Anybody can go on there and see what's going on.
And I think that's called I Love Casseberry?
Yes, correct. Andy.
Yeah, so listeners, two places to connect there. One, Casseberry's Patio Bar page, and also the I Love Casseberry page, which has a lot more of the things going on in our city listed. Pat, closing comments, anything you'd like to share with folks?
I would just say I'm glad I bought the bar. If I had to do it all over again, I will. And if you haven't been here, I bumped into a gentleman at the post office the other day. He's lived in the area for 40 years, and he remembers passing the house, but he wasn't sure. So I gave him a free drink card, and he came in that night. So I just ask that people check us out, and especially on band nights, we want to keep live music going, and I think that's important. And I think you'll find there's a lot of nice people here, and especially if you're new to the area, Andy, which a lot of people are, I think it's a great place to meet nice people.
Yeah, I agree. Pat, you said you were glad that you bought the bar. Well, we are glad that you bought the bar too, and we're grateful for how you lead in our community. We're grateful how you serve our community, and we're grateful for how the bar is a blessing in our community as well. So, Pat, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you, and appreciate your time.
Robin, wasn't that a great conversation with Pat? I love his heart. I love his story. I love the adventures that he's been on and the success he's made of his life. As you listen to Pat, what were some of the things that inspired you?
Well, just hearing his whole life story and how he got to own this bar, and that this bar is somewhere I've driven by 100 times, several times a day, and all the good that is done for the community was really inspiring.
It is. Talking of inspiration, as we wrap up, let me share an inspirational moment. This is a quote from Joe Girard, who said, "The elevator to success is out of order. You'll have to use the stairs one step at a time." Let me repeat that again. The elevator to success is out of order. You'll have to use the stairs one step at a time. I love this quote because so many of us so often are just looking for a quick trip to success. But as Pat's story reminds us, it never happens like that. It's lots of slow, steady, sometimes fumbling steps in the right direction, and we end up at the top. I'm grateful for how Pat's story pointed that out for us. With about 5 different careers that he's been a success at. But one thing led to another. And as it was true for Pat, so it's true for us. Let me remind our listeners of that quote once more. The elevator to success is out of order. You'll have to use the stairs one step at a time.
Nice. Thank you. All right. So this episode of the What's Up Casseberry podcast was hosted by Andy Searles and produced by Robin Kepi.
Woohoo! While Drew was asleep, napping, watching TV with some lame
Doing
excuse.
Absolutely not. Excuses. Next week it's going to be like, oh, I have to feed them and take care of them and blah, blah, blah.
We're going to have excuses for 18 years now, aren't we, Robin?
What do you mean? My mom still has excuses with me. Thank you for listening, and catch us on the next episode. And have a great week.